Hi guys, Mr. B here, and in this video we're going to be showing you how to round, okay? We're going to show you how to round any number, but first what we're going to look at is what actually rounding is. So, when we round a number, we'll round it to either the nearest 10, the nearest 100, the nearest 1000, and so on. And what that actually means is finding the closest unit of that. So if it's 10, it's the closest 10 to that number. So let's have a look at 22. If we were rounding 22 to the closest 10, if we put in a number line, it would be obvious. We've got 20 here and 30. The 10's either side of 22, and the closest 10 it is to is 20. So if we round 22 to the nearest 10, it would be 20. Okay, if we were still rounding the nearest 10, we've got here 1,246, a bit of a bigger number. If we round that to the closest 10, again we've got our two 10s either side of that number, 1,240, 1,250. Okay, if we put it on a number line, we could see that it would be closer to 1,250. So, if we round 1,246 to the nearest 10, the answer would be 1,250. Now what I want to show you is how to do it without a number line and rounding to any number, be it 10, 100 or 1,000. Okay, so now we're going to look at how to round any number. Okay, so if a question asks you to round the nearest 10, nearest 1,000, nearest 10,000, 100,000, million, and so on, you'll be able to do it following these steps. We'll run through it and then I'll put the steps on the end of the video so you can have a look at them. So our first step is to find the number that we're rounding to. Now I have a bigger number here. I have 1,248,399. My first job is to find what number I'm rounding to. So if the question on this one said, round this number to your nearest thousands, I'd have to find which number I'm rounding to, so I'd have to find my thousands column. So I go my ones, tens, hundreds, this would be my thousands column. So obviously as you can see, you need to know your place value so you can do this. So that is my thousands column. So that is the number I am rounding to. So that 8 represents 8,000. Okay, that's the first step, easy, finding the right column. Second step that we need to do is to find the number 1 to the right of that, even easier step. So 8 here, 1 to the right is our 3. Okay, so step 1, we find the number we're rounding to, and step 2, we look at the number 1 to the right of it. And now step 3, what we need to know is if that number is 0 to 4, we are going to round down. Okay, if that number is a 5 to 9, we are going to round up. Okay, so if it's 0, 1, 2, 3 or 4, we're going to round down. If it's 5 or higher, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then we're going to round up. So we can look at this one here, it is a number 3, so we're going to round down. Okay, so on this one, you've got a 3 right next to the number that we're rounding to, so we know we're going to round down. So we know which way we're rounding, now we need to know what to do that. Okay, so because we're rounding down, what we do is we keep the number the same. Okay, so if we round down, we keep the number the same. We've got a 3 there, so that's what we're doing. So that 8 is going to stay the same. If we were rounding up, we add 1 to the number. Okay, so if we've been rounding up in this section, I'll show you one rounding up after this, that would change to a 9. Okay, so because we're rounding down, that's going to stay the same, so we don't have to do anything. Then our last step is to turn every number after the one we're rounding to into a 0. Okay, so got my 3 and 9, 9, I turn them all into a 0. And that means I've now rounded that number to the nearest thousand, 1,248,000. And that would be that number rounded to the nearest thousand. I'll now show you one where we round up. Okay, so now we're going to use them rules to round this number. We're going to pick a number that's going to make us round up so we can see that. Okay, so we've got 12,467,109. This time I'm going to round to the nearest 10,000. So I go to my 10,000s column. 1, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000. So step 1, find the number I'm rounding to. It's that number there, the 10,000s column, that's 6. Okay, step 2, find the number 1 to the right of it. Easy as that. It's the number 7 right next to it there. And now we need to know step 3 rule. If it's 0 to 4, we round down. If it's 5 or above, we round up. We've got a 7 there, so this time we're rounding up. Now remember, if we're rounding down, we would keep the number the same. Because we're rounding up, we increase that number by 1. So that 6 becomes a 7. Okay? That 6 becomes 7. And our last rule, turn every number after the one that we're rounding into a 0. Okay? So that's the number we're rounding. 7, 1, 0, 9. Turn them into zeros. And there's that number now rounded to the nearest 10,000. 12,470,000. It's as easy as that, okay? I'm going to put the steps on the end, and if you follow them through step by step, anytime you've got a rounding question, you should get the right answer. If you've got any questions or anything like that, pop them down in the comments for me. If you've enjoyed this video, found it helpful, give it a like, and share it if you know anyone else that would benefit from it, okay? Till next time, see you later.